Welcome to Legacy Atlanta. Tonight we have race number 8 of the SuperStar ARCA West Season 2. And tonight we're here for the Pro Build Recovery Excavation Services 175 here from the Legacy Atlanta, the 2008 version. Usually we're used to the new Echo Park Speedway, as the Super Speedway I used to like to call it, but we're back. We're taking it back to the past here in 2008. And tonight these West drivers looking to try and take the win here for a 115 lap race later tonight. But first, before we get to that, we got a few heat races and qualifying to get through tonight, as qualifying just getting underway. As the fastest in practice tonight was Elliot Henderson with a 29.255. We'll see if he can back that up here in qualifying, but still, going to be an interesting race tonight, especially here on the old surface of Atlanta, Legacy Atlanta. Tire wear is definitely going to be a big factor.
Yeah, definitely spoke to some of the drivers after the Kansas Wit race 2 weeks ago. They were looking forward to this race, definitely different than most 1.5 mile tracks, just with the tire wear and just the high banks of Atlanta. Just very unique 1.5 mile track in the heart of Georgia.
Yes, so you can also see some of the different lanes start to work. Top of 1 and 2 work pretty well now in this Legacy Atlanta version as well. But you can also see some of the drivers probably sitting on the bottom trying to save those tires tonight. So we could see kind of multi-group action tonight. We'll see who can open up the lanes a little bit easier, who can work the outside lanes better, make use of more speed. We'll probably see the outside lane being used a lot here in qualifying, as we're watching the 40 machine there. A ridiculous carousel right now, as he's almost hitting the outside wall off of turn number 2, but he's down rockets down the back straight away.
Yeah, looking really good there. Top side quickest here in qualifying here at Legacy Atlanta.
So you run a little bit more middle here to the 3 and 4. That typically is a little bit better, but it looks like it gets a little tight. But here comes carousel to the line. It will be put him to P number 1 on the top of the board for carousel, but David McCauley instantly takes that away from him with a 29.855.
Goes in the outside wall, so it looks like his first lap will be his fastest. It seems like the first lap is the fastest here at Atlanta. Don't believe any of these drivers are going quicker on their second lap so far. Jackson Sims goes up to second.
It is a pretty hot track, so typically the first lap is a little bit quicker, especially when the track's so hot. It is 95 degrees, a little bit colder than you normally kind of where you get the coined name of Hot Atlanta. It's not really that hot yet, but it also only is 10:30 in the morning in the sim, so it's only going to get hotter throughout the night, throughout the day today. So we'll see how that plays out for some of these drivers later.
Devin McIntosh goes up to third.
I watched the 74 machine of Devin McIntosh. There's now Elliot Henderson coming to start his first lap, as he was the fastest in practice. We'll see if he can back it up here in qualifying. Elliot Henderson coming to start his lap, gets a really good run off of turn number 4 across the line. He'll slide down to the turn number 1 now. We'll take it to the top lane, put it right up against that outside wall in turn number 1 and 2. Watch the wall off turn 2. The wall quickly sneaks up on him, but he keeps it off the wall. Good, looked like a really good line there down the back straightaway. We'll see what he does here in 3 and 4. Does he set up for lap number 2? And it looks like he will. He's going to go right up against the outside wall. We'll see if that makes it pretty fast or not. It could be fast, but typically a little bit faster running the middle lane in 3 and 4 there. But we'll see what Henderson does here on lap number 1. Really good lap for number 1. 29.992 for Henderson on lap 1. It'll jump him to P13. He'll move to the bottom in 1 and 2 here on lap number 2.
Well, on the racetrack he goes. Looks pretty good off of turn 1. We'll see if this one's quicker than his first lap, though.
Looks a little tight off the exit of 2, but he'll go back down to the bottom here in 3 and 4. Going to try and paint that white line on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll slide up the racetrack off of turn number 4. Got to keep it off the wall. Looks pretty strong. Here comes Henderson to the line. It will be a 29.711. He'll go to the top of the...
What a lap there from Elliot Henderson. Puts him on pole position, and looks like with a minute left in qualifying, there's no one else on the racetrack right now currently on their timed lap.
No one else is not going to have enough time to set another lap now, so that means Elliot Henderson will be our pole setter here tonight. So he will automatically move on to the feature tonight, but no one will go home as we do not have enough drivers. But he will not have to worry about the heat races tonight. So he'll automatically start on the pole. In second, we'll also join him up there as well. So Jackson Sims will join him on the front row in tonight's feature race.
Yeah, but it's just...
So wait for qualifying to kind of roll down here, but right now, Henderson and Sims will be on the front row.
Yeah, I was waiting for qualifying to become official, but unofficially, pretty much Elliot Henderson on pole position. Will not change here in the next few seconds, though.
So now we wait as qualifying just coming to an end here, with just a couple seconds left here on the clock. As it'll be Dylan Chappell will start on the pole for heat number 1. We'll see if we only get 1 heat tonight.
There are currently 22 drivers in total. 20 of them will take the heat, so it looks like you have two heats of 10. Looks like here. 6 laps each.
So everyone will automatically make the feature tonight. They're just going to try to better their position here in the heat. So we will have 2 heats here tonight. So we'll be Dylan Chappell will start on the pole here for heat number 1, and heat number 2, the pole sitter will be Jacob Miller. But as heat number 1 grids up, let's take a look at tonight at the lineup for heat number 1. As it was Dylan Chappell with a 29.747, able to put it on the pole here for heat number 1. David McCullough, he'll start second in this heat. Dylan Harris will start third in the 24 machine. Andrew Nagy in the 6th heat will start 4th tonight. In this heat, in the first heat, right at the top 5 will be the 15 and Nathan Lamont. Alongside him will be 40 of Nicholas Carousel in that 6th place spot. 7th place will be Cole Steiner in the 88, and Dan River will start 8th. Starting 9th will be the 45 of Dwayne Young, and running our 10 car field here in heat number 1 is Blake
McClung not setting a lap time in qualifying. Looks like he's not currently grid up as well, so it does end up starting in this heat race. But only 6 laps here in the heat races. There'll be a very quick one here at Atlanta, so expect a lot of pushing, no saving, no tire saving at all. That should be should make for a pretty fun, I guess, kind of just restart. Pretty much this is all it is. 6 laps, not really enough to do too much tire saving or strategy at all.
These drivers won't really have to worry about tires at all in this run here. As good news for them, the track temp did go down a little bit, so down to 93 degrees for the track temp. As let's take a look at our weather while we wait here. As we start the roll off here for the heat, as it is 81 degree ambient temperature with the 93 degree track temp. Partly cloudy skies, kind of a minor winds there, about 5 miles per hour, but a 60% relative humidity. So we'll see how these drivers kind of handle these conditions, but it only is only 10:42 in the sim, so it's only going to get hotter throughout the day as we progress throughout the the show here tonight. So once we get through heat 2, we'll probably advance a little bit more time, and also especially once you jump to the warm up in the feature, that'll definitely jump up through time, and it'll definitely be a really hot racetrack come feature time.
Definitely Atlanta, known its nickname as Hot Atlanta. It's there for a reason as well. It's super hot here in Atlanta, especially in, I believe it was July was the date in sim, so it's gonna be even hotter throughout the day, especially.
We'll see how these drivers kind of handle these first 6 laps. Though they're gonna get a feel of, if we do get on the race you start, how is that gonna happen? But you also kind of get the feel how this race car will handle a little bit on a restart as well. So cold tires are going to be a big factor going through 1 and 2, and also the wheel spin. Old surface, really hard to get grip, especially getting on these fresh cold tires. We'll see how these drivers can handle the restarts here. A 6-lap shootout here for the heats. And heat number 1 getting underway. Irish pace car will take that hard left turn on the pit road into the Geico restart turn. We're underway here for heat number 1. Dylan Chappell, David McCullough with a pretty good launch off the start. McCullough's going to try and slot in behind Chappell here, already off at turn number 2. We'll see if Andrew Nagy on the outside lane gets a little bit of movement, momentum on the top lane. He will. He's going to jump down to the bottom. Who's down to the inside, looking for second on David McCullough already. But now McCullough, he's going to have the outside lane, have the drive off the corner. But here comes Kressel down to the bottom, looking for 3 for second.
3 abreast here, coming across the line. Looks like the machine will clear for second. David McCullough has 3 wide once again. That's Dan Reberk on the top side. Go. Rip. Oh, he's in the wall.
He's going to get in the wall, and he's going to go around. He's going to collect Caressel, but what a save by Nicholas Caressel there. Unfortunate though, he will lose all that time, but he fall. But a good save there for Nicholas Caressel. These drivers looking like they're already struggling kind of with rear grip already. This shows you how slick this racetrack is out there tonight, but gets it on the outside wall, spins it around, but you see some drivers slipping and sliding around off that corner as well.
Especially off those exits off the turn 4, especially. It seems like a trouble spot here so far, but Dylan Chapel leads here currently. Coming to the halfway point already in heat 1.
As right now, Dylan Chapel holds the race lead, but David McCullough trying to block for second as he's got Andrew Nagy trying to work the inside, but here comes Dwayne Young to the outside. He's going to jump to the outside of David McCullough now. Going to try and get the nose right on that quarter panel and get to the right rear. Now in 1 and 2, this could be a good opportunity to kind of plan around the outside lane, but he does fall behind as it looks like McCullough will shut the door and slam the door on him, and Dwayne Young will get the wall, trying to stick to the outside, and they're going to look 3 wide for third.
Was up the racetrack, goes Blake McClung, door banging up the racetrack off of turn 4. They keep the trailer here off the exit. A little bit more contact though down the quad oval.
Right behind him, Cole Steiner, he's trying to push the middle lane forward of that 10 machine, but Dwayne Young gets to the outside wall. He tags the 10 of Blake McClung, and they both go around in turn 1.
They were door banging the whole time through 3 and 4 and off the exit as well. It's mayhem in the entry to turn 1.
They'll still 3 wide for that 4th place spot, but right now Dylan Chapel holds the lead, trying to get back to the white flag. They just try to pick up a heat win, but Dave McCullough trying to hunt him down here with the final 2 laps to go. You see the replay there, but now white flag 1 to go here in heat number 1, and Dave McCullough on the back bumper. Dylan Chapel entering 1. He's slowly been gaining a little bit of time. We'll see if he can get the run off in turn number 2. Maybe have an opportunity down in turn number 3 and 4.
A little bit of draft here on the back straightaway. Pretty long straightaway here at Atlanta. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough though to make a move out on turn 3.
He'll take it to the top lane, trying to get a late apex through turn 3 and 4. We'll see if he gets enough of a run off of turn number 4. He's going to close the gap just a little bit, but Dave McCullough not going to be enough. Dylan Chapel will win heat number 1 as Dave McCullough will finish 2nd. Andrew Nagy will round up the top 3 as surviving a lot of chaos there late. Cole Steiner will pick up 4th.
What a good heat 1 that was. I mean, obviously a lot of chaos like you mentioned, but a lot of good racing as well. Here in the main for the first few laps.
But Dylan Chapel, he will pick up heat number 1 as we still wait for everybody to complete the heat here. And we'll also get a little bit of extra pit stop practice, so that could be pretty crucial later in this race.
Yeah.
But as that will end up heat number 1, so let's take a look at our results here for heat number 1. It was Dylan Chapel able to take the win. David McCullough finishing 2nd, Andrew Nagy in 3rd, Cole Steiner in 4th, Nathan Lamar runs at the top 5, Dylan Harris in 6th, Nicholas Caressel in 7th, Dan Redbark in 8th, Dwayne Young in 9th, and Blake McClung rounds at the top 10 for heat number 1. Now we'll move on to heat number 2. These drivers just getting up now and getting ready to roll off here for heat number 2. Jake Miller will be on the pole as Devin McIntosh will start alongside him in the 74. They'll be on the front row here for heat number 2. Starting in 3rd in the 83 machine will be 93 machine. Apologies. Will be Matt Sisler, and Ty Williams will start 4th in that 44 machine. Dustin Spotez will will start in 5th tonight. Tony Jeffries will start 6th in that 23 machine. Philip Neese will start 7th. Glenn Grimm will start 8th. Evan Clapper will start 9th. And running on the top 10 will be the 73 Niles Davis here in heat number 2.
Yeah, a lot of chaos there in heat 1, but we'll see what happens here in heat 2. But racing here has been pretty competitive so far. A little bit more separation than we've seen from some other 1.5 mile tracks, like for example Kansas 2 weeks ago. A lot less pack racing it seems like as well. So like I mentioned, should be at least in the feature race 115 laps. So definitely some tire wear strategy and maybe even fuel strategy could come into play there. But we'll see if we have a long enough green flag run though in the feature race to have that kind of strategy calls as well, which based off the heat races, it seems like a lot of drivers getting loose here off the corners, especially off of turn 4. Especially, it seems like that's the trouble corner here at Atlanta so far tonight.
Yeah, what I'm seeing, it seems like kind of be like a push tight a little bit as they kind of get loose and chase it up the racetrack and the outside wall. So we'll see how these drivers start to handle that, especially once we get late into a run. We'll see how that happens later tonight. Green flag out for heat number 2, so another 6-lap shootout. Determine when you will start here. We'll see who will start 4th on the outside lane. Pretty much this will set the outside lane spot. So good launch for Jake Miller on the bottom. They're going to be side by side for 2nd as Matt Sisler will take that spot away already. So he'll slot back in line for 2nd. A couple drivers into the outside wall though off the 2.
Got a little door banging the outside wall, but they keep it straight for now. Entering turn number 3 and 4. Here comes Matt Sisler to the long racetrack of Jake Miller. Side by side of turn 4, dead heat coming to the stripe.
Miller will hold on to to the race lead for now. P number 1, but P2, Matt Sisler, he'll slot back to the bottom. He'll drive it down to the inside. Going to try and pull the slider off of turn number 1 and 2 here. We'll see if he's got enough grip to make it happen. He does! Shuts the door on him there. Really aggressive move here. But Matt Sisler will take the lead as Miller getting ping-ponged around as he had a bad shove from behind. He'll jump back to the bottom in 3 and 4. He's going to try and pull the same move. Can he do it off of turn number 4 though? Not going to be enough.
Oh, yes,
it will actually.
Oh, man.
Big Miller will take the spot away.
Big block though. He almost goes to the grass in the quad oval, but he's going to look that to the inside in turn 1.
Sisler will take it back to the crossover, back to the line in 1 and 2, but Miller a little bit different this time. He'll try and pin Sisler down to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll slide them both off the racetrack. Miller will clear off of turn number 2, a little bit more caught on the wall behind, but there's single file on the top lane, only one driver down to the bottom, as Sisler will take it back to the top lane here in 3 and 4.
What a great turn of events here so far, 3 laps in this one, as we're halfway through heat number 2.
As Jake Miller will take the race lead, but down back into the turn number 1. Sisler will jump back to the bottom of the 61. Dustin Spades looking for an opportunity, looking for a gap to maybe take an advantage. Off of turn number 2, does he make the 3-wide move just yet? As he's going to try and push Jake Miller clear. He'll try and push Miller clear down into turn number 3. They actually will both clear Sisler barely through 3 and 4, so now Sisler going to be a little bit back in traffic. But the 74, McIntosh will slide up the racetrack as he loses those on the entry.
As he falls down to 8th place there, maybe even 9th place here in the moment as well. Back out in front. Jake Miller still leads, but here comes Dustin Spades on the bottom of the racetrack. Doesn't have quite the momentum off of turn 2 to make a move down the back.
He tried to move down to the 1 and 2, but now he's falling right in the tire tracks here in 3 and 4. It looks like the dirty air maybe hurt him up a little bit, but Jake Miller slides way up the racetrack off the exit. We'll see if Spades can maybe try and close that gap back down. But here comes Evan Clapper, starting from the back here in this heat. He's going to try and look for an opportunity here late. Final lap here in heat number 2. Looks like Miller, though, maybe using the outside lane to his advantage. It looks like he's going to be able to hold on for now.
Yeah, he was wheeling that thing off for turn 2. Down the back straight where they go. As one driver... Looks like they're laying some drivers by. It's a Matt Sisler laying all these drivers by. Interesting there. Not sure why that happened, but coming to the check flag, Jake Miller will win heat 2.
Miller will win heat 2, and Dustin Spades will hold on to second. Ever Clapper in third, but Matt Sisler, though, maybe a wreck off of turn number 4. He'll fall all the way back to 10th.
Looks like he just kind of let those drivers by. I just let those drivers by down the back straightaway.
I wonder if he got a little bit loose off turn number 2, but he was battling for the heat win, and he falls all the way back.
Not sure. He might have a penalty maybe from past few weeks, and maybe he just wants to start in the rear of the field. But interesting decision there from the 93 machine, excuse me.
We'll see. We'll see how he can work his way up in the features tonight. Before we get to our feature, we have a little bit of warm up before we get to before we kind of take our break here. Let's take a look at our results here for heat number 2, as Jake Miller was able to take the heat win alongside Dustin Spades will finish second, Evan Clapper third, Ty Williams in fourth, Philip Meese in fifth, Devin McIntosh around in sixth, Tony Jeffries in seventh, Glenn Grimm in eighth, Niles Davis finishing ninth, and Matt Sisler running our 10-car field there for heat number 2. So all those drivers will line up on the outside lane here. So they'll fall. They'll be fourth on back to 22nd here tonight. Feature. So now warm up underway. So these drivers getting their last last warm ups in, little last bit of practice. So we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back for the feature. Welcome to the Legacy Atlanta. Tonight we have race number 8 of SuperStar ARCA West Series, is season 2 of the series. As tonight we're here at Legacy Atlanta for the Pro Spill Recovery and Excavation Services 175 here from Legacy Atlanta. These drivers getting ready to get rolling and get underway for tonight's 115 lap race, 175 miles. As you just saw at the top of the show tonight, Elliot Henderson and Jackson Sims took the front rows. They will roll off just a couple of seconds before we get to kind of do the rest of the field. Let's take a look at our starting lineup here for tonight's race here at Legacy Atlanta. As Elliot Henderson put it on the pole tonight with a 29.711, and alongside him will be the 06 of Jackson Sims. He'll start with a 29.738 in second. Dylan Chapel will start third tonight as he won heat number 1, and Jacob Miller run one heat number 2 as he'll start fourth tonight. David McCall will start fifth, and that's 3 machine. Dustin Spates will start sixth, and that's 61. Andrew Nagy in the 60 machine will start seventh. Evan Clapper will start 8th tonight in that 5 machine. Cole Steiner to the 88 will start 9th, and right here at top 10 here tonight will be the 44 Ty Weems. Nathan Lame on the 15 will start 11th. Phil Neeson 38. Well, he will start 12th tonight. 13th will be the 24 machine of Dylan Harris, and Devin McIntosh the 74 machine will start 14th. And in the top 15 will be the 40 of Nicholas Russell, and Tony Jeffries 16th, and that 23 machine will roll off alongside him. 17th will be 13th Dan Reberak, and alongside him will be Glenn Grimm in the 08 machine. Starting 19th will be the 45 of Dwayne Young, and the 73 Niles Davis will start 20th. And right here, our final row of the field tonight with the 10 of Blake McClung. He'll start 21st, and 22nd, 93 Max Lisley. These drivers getting ready to go racing for the 8th time this season, for the 8th feature here tonight. It's 115 laps. We'll definitely see a lot of tire tonight. We saw the heat racing was a lot of slipping and sliding around, but we have now advanced to about 110 in the sim. So this track has really ramped up the temperature. It's now 129 degrees track temperature. These drivers have a lot new challenge here as we enter the feature here tonight. The IRC pace car will take that hard left turn on the pit road. Elliot Henderson, Jackson Sims leads with the green. Green flags in the air. We're underway here from Legacy Atlanta.
And as already Will Smith on the start, drivers sideways in the back. But we keep it straight for now. Absolute chaos here on the start already.
These drivers already started the struggle. I mentioned it early in the show tonight, as track temp will no doubt rise as we get throughout the night, the show tonight, and the track has already jumped 30 degrees in temperature since they were last on the racetrack. So these drivers really going to be struggling now, struggling for grip now.
A lot of tire saving going to go on here tonight, especially early on. You don't want to push too hard early on and pay the price 10, 15 laps later even.
Jackson Sims, he'll jump down to the bottom. He'll jump to the inside of Elliot Henderson, try to look for the race lead, but he'll probably see a lot of these drivers tonight. They'll probably stick to the bottom of the racetrack, as the top lane will easily overheat your tires. So you don't want to go up there too long. But also see how these drivers, maybe they might trend a little bit tighter, as that's usually what happens, especially when it's a little bit loose, kind of to start the run. It starts to trend a little bit tighter. So these drivers gonna have to manage their right front tonight, but also manage all their tires. We'll see how aggressive some of these drivers will get for the race lead, but Jake Miller looking to the outside of 1 and 2 for Elliot Henderson for the race lead.
Yeah, took a peek right there, but I think right now these drivers kind of keeping calm. They know how hot the track temp is, how loose this thing is. Not a lot of aggressive moves so far tonight, early on this one. As soon as I said, the 3 wide off of turn 4, it's going to get a little tight here. Dylan Chapel on the very top side. Now the 3 wide in the quad oval. Let's get it nice and into turn 1.
That chaos at 4th on back here. Cole Steiner trying to get to the outside, but we'll also see a lot of drivers getting loose on the entry of the corner now. A 60 machine will slot on Andrew Nagy, will slot up in front of Cole Steiner. They're going to be 3 wide behind him, but now Cole Steiner will clear for the top lane. They go back to 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, entering 3. Single file out a little bit for the top 5, but now the 17 and Dylan Chapel, he hunts down to the bottom on the inside of Jake Miller for that 2nd place spot for now. They'll slot back up off of turn number 2, so it seems like these drivers up front going to try and start to kind of relax a little bit, try and settle in for this later, for the late run, as everyone pretty much bottom feeding now, trying to save their tires, trying to manage as much of the tires as they can.
And so here comes Cole Steiner to the top side of Jackson Sims, here for 4th. Send you up 4 positions and now 5 already. Gotta watch out though, he could be wearing down his tires quite quickly here so far.
And so far, I just kind of keep a note on the drivers that are running the bottom, really trying to be patient entering the corner, trying to just be very smooth through the center of the corner. Those drivers are going to excel later part of this run. Some of these drivers up on the top, upper lane of the racetrack, they're going to be overheating their tires a little bit if they're sawing at the wheel especially, but they also do get a little bit of clean air, so that could help them as well. If they can kind of manage that correctly, that could be also a good option as well. If you kind of run a little bit of the middle, get a little bit of that clean air, but also you got to be very smooth with it as well.
Yeah, kind of just give and take at this racetrack right now. Don't want to take too much, don't want to give too much as well. Find that happy medium. It looks like some of these drivers kind of just flying in single file for the most part. Nothing too crazy further on back, just kind of some side-by-side action, but we'll see how this plays out. We're already 8 laps in this one. The leader has not changed. Elliott Henderson got the pole position, and he's led pretty much this entire race so far, all 8 laps so far tonight.
Yeah, so far these drivers kind of single file it out, staying pretty close to each other though, so if anyone makes a mistake, you have about 3 or 4 drivers behind you ready to pounce on your mistake. So you gotta still be precise and clean here right now. You can't make any big mistakes, as right now Dylan Chapel though starting to fall off at the pace a little bit to Jake Miller and Elliott Henderson. They're trying to get a little bit of a gap, but Dylan Chapel last few laps he's been taken to the outside wall pretty much. So he's trying to get some momentum forward on that outside lane for now.
Yeah, I think he knows he might be slipping just a little bit, so he's trying to use the outside lane, which is the faster line here in turn 1 and 2, to try to get some of that time that he might be losing.
So far, he's still making it happen down in 3 and 4. Looks like he's staying to the top lane in 1 and 2, that back to the bottom in 3 and 4, but don't be... And also, for Dylan Chapel, you can't be afraid of just losing a little bit of time. If you're backing off the corners really well and just giving up just a slight bit of time, yeah, that's going to add up. But eventually, if you're saving those tires much better than those top 2 right now, you're going to be able to make all that time back up and even more later in the run. But right now, he had a really good run off of 2. He drives down to the bottom in 3 and 4 to the inside of Jake Miller for that second place spot. But I think Miller, though, off his 4, will have just enough run to clear. Jackson Sims though trying to take advantage now of Dylan Chapel. He jumps down to the bottom in 1 and 2, and Cole Steiner looking to the middle, almost 3 wide for a second there. But here comes Jake Miller back to the top lane in 1 and 2. He will get to the outside of Elliott Henderson. He's going to get the nose out in front in turn number 1, turn number 3, and he'll actually clear before he even enters the corner.
Turn 4 side by side behind Elliott as well. Sims and Chapel and Cole Steiner as well in the mix here for his 3rd, 4th, and 5th place position.
So far, Elliott Henderson holds on to 2nd, but they're almost 3 wide for 3rd there. Not going to happen though. They're stay side by side for 3rd. As almost a really tight side draft there from Jackson Sims to Dylan Chapel. Dylan Chapel is still fighting hard for 3rd right now, but he gets to the outside wall though for Cole Steiner right behind him. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. That's going to cost him 2, 3, 4 spots there for Cole Steiner as he gets to the outside wall in 3 and 4. Looks like all these drivers, especially all these drivers right now, they've migrated to the outside wall. They want to try and maintain their track position. Interesting calls for now. We'll see how those tires start to kind of play out. We'll see these drivers maybe might be getting a little bit tight, but Elliott Henderson though, with a really good run off in turn number 2, is able to get to the inside and clear into 3 of Jake Miller. So Elliott Henderson back to the lead. Then you kind of start to see these drivers starting to see the tire wear now at 14 laps into this one, track over 130 degrees. So these drivers really starting to struggle with grip, and I kind of saw it down on 1 and 2. It looks like it's happening in 3 and 4 here. That car just wants to take off entering the corner. As you kind of see Dylan Chapel, he enters the corner and the car just wants to slide straight up the racetrack. So maybe it could be overdriving just a little bit, but these drivers have to struggle with that, trying to save their right front as much as possible.
Henderson running the bottom line in 1 and 2. We'll see how he is off the exit of turn 2. Jake Miller closing the gap under 2 tenths. About 1/10 and a half behind Elliott Henderson for 1st.
Jackson Sims, he jumps back to the bottom. Put it right on that white line there on the inside lane. He's going to stay side by side with Dylan Chappell. He's trying to take advantage of it. Dylan Chappell that is starting to struggle with those tires now. He's watched down here on 1 and 2. See how Dylan Chappell takes it. If that nose just kind of slides up the racetrack a little bit, looks like he got a little bit he got it turned a lot better here than 1 and 2 this time, and able to get the grip off the corner. But gotta watch it a little bit. Don't want to get too tight and get to the outside wall. But a good run there for Dylan Chappell. Hold on to third for now, but the single file up behind, a single file throughout the rest of the field.
See how much this field has spread out so far.
Cole Steiner looked like he tagged the wall there, but they are right up against that wall for Jackson Sims and Cole Steiner for that 4th and 5th place spot. It looks like Sims trying to push Dylan Chappell a little bit forward now, but now he's going to go to the top lane here in 3 and 4, trying to take that 3rd place spot away. And looks like he could have a really good run off of 4. Can he make a move down to the 1? They go through the trial, though. He'll jump to the outside of Dylan Chappell, side by side for 3rd now. Where will Cole Snyder go? It looks like he's going to try and back up the corner a little bit, follow Dylan Chappell to the bottom of the racetrack. But Jackson Sims will rip it around the outside lane. He will clear for that 3rd place spot.
And the field kind of spreading out. We'll see how this tire and fuel strategy plays out here tonight. Usually Atlanta tire strategy always probably the single biggest talking point on the long run. And pretty much the whole race as well. Just how much tire can you save and how much tires wear out, how much tire sets do you have in the box as well. And also when you can time the cautions, if you need to pit under a caution and whatnot. All gonna play a factor here in all 115 laps. Already 20 laps down already though. Basically run out by pretty quick so far, as we have not had a caution so far tonight.
Yeah, so far it's clean and green for now, but now you're starting to see the tire wear really start to play a factor now. You're starting to see who's strong on the tire wear right now. And actually now Jake Miller jumps back to the top lane. It's shocked their tires really haven't fallen off as much as I thought they would. As a lot of the kind of round after lap 10, they really battled hard for the race lead, but now Jake Miller with a good run off of turn number 2. Been good shove to the back bumper. Elliot Henderson down on the 3 and 4, but it looks like he's trying to get to the outside, trying to take this race lead away.
Yeah, so far lap times have fallen off about 1.2 seconds from their fastest lap time. And here comes Jackson Sims as well. As these drivers really struggling in front of him. Jake Miller a bit loose, same with Sims. This is really getting sketchy right here off of turn 2.
So far, top 4 staying pretty close together, but right now it is looking to be Elliot Henderson starting to pull away a little bit here by a couple of tenths. But right now, Jake Miller starting to fall back to the back bumper of Jackson Sims. Cole Steiner looking strong as well. He jumps down on the bottom here, so Cole Steiner looking pretty strong on the bottom. It looks like his tires really starting to come into play, as he had to start a little bit farther back, but now he's looking for that 3rd place spot on Jackson Sims. So slot behind. It's very hard to get the pass done on the bottom of the racetrack, but if you just sit on the bottom, just stay patient, save those tires, really starting to pay off in the long run. Start to see a few different names start to kind of new names pop up, as Cole Snyder and Nathan Lamont really working their way up here later in this run, as they have now worked up to 4th and 5th. Nathan Lamont, really good run so far. He'll jump down on the bottom of Cole Snyder So you start to see kind of the comers and goers throughout the night so far, but this time by will be 24 laps into this run. So you start lap number 25. So I'm assuming fuel entering tonight was about 67% of a fuel tank here in this ARCA car. So I'm assuming it's probably going to be about around 40 to 45 laps on a tank of fuel. So we'll see how long these drivers will stretch that fuel. Ideally, you're going to want a two-stop strategy as well, so we'll see how that kind of plays out as well. Ideally, they want to try and get to about 37 laps each run. So far, single file throughout the rest of the field for now. Oh, Jackson Sims gets to the wall off of turn number 2, and that'll allow Cole Steiner back to the bottom, side by side for that third place spot. Be Sims to the bottom, Sims to the top lane, and Cole Steiner on the bottom. Steiner is a little bit loose in the center of the corner.
Here's his 2 off the exit.
It looks like it'll cost a little bit more time for Cole Steiner. Sims will clear and hold on for third, but now that allowed Elliot Henderson and Jake Miller to really drive away now by about 4 or 5 tenths of a second. It looks like Sims and Steiner are able to crawl it back just a tad bit through 1 and 2. But they're still side by side as Nathan Lamont. He's just been working the bottom, being patient. It's making it happen. He's been working his way up. Nathan Lamont started tonight in that 11th spot. So he's one of our biggest movers tonight so far. Being stronger than that 15 machine. The leaders had to navigate a lap machine there. The 73 of Niles Davis. So we get out of the way off through 1 and 2, but all these drivers kind of had to take to the middle of the bottom lanes as he stayed to the top lane. But Jackson Sims has really pulled away now from the pressure he had behind a Cole Steiner and Nathan Lamont, as Lamont cannot find his way by, as he's just still trying to work the bottom, still trying to be patient, but just Cole Steiner just good enough on the top lane for now, able to hold off, but they're going to be side by side off the turn number 2 here once again. But I think Steiner's going to have enough for run. Can he hold it off into turn number 3? And he will. So the outside lane is really strong right now, especially once we get later into this run.
Yeah, these drivers can find more grip on the top side compared to the bottom, it seems like. Able to blow the top as well and not lose too much track position as well, which later in the run, track position becomes a little bit more valuable due to the dirty air and how these tires are handling this. Ooh, Miller loose once it off, again off of turn 2. Man, these drivers are really wheeling it here in Atlanta.
Yeah, struggling late as we get into this run. Final probably 10-15 laps of this run right now here as we complete lap number 30 this time by. Who will be the first driver to bite the bullet and come down pit road? That will also be the question. Undercut and overcut, pretty big differences here. And try and be on the freshest tires as much as possible. So we'll see how that plays out.
A couple drivers coming out pit lane already. Matt Sisler, Evan Clapper as well.
Yeah, Matt Sisler, he was strong in his heat race, but then had to dropped all the way back to the last, and now he's been seen struggling a little bit here in the feature tonight, as he's now down pit road, but he's not running great. He was about 5 seconds off the lead, so he did get back up to the top 10, but he seemed to be struggling so far here tonight. The top 5 staying pretty close, but now we're gonna have to get to the pit stop strategy now throughout the night in Legacy Atlanta. A really hard track to get on and off pit road, so these drivers are gonna have to be perfect, but you cannot make a mistake, especially how this car is handling and getting loose. But once you get on the brakes, you're the front end of the race car is going to want to just shoot up the racetrack, so you gotta be careful. Crank the wheel, trying to get it down the pit road, and you don't want to miss pit road, and you don't want to speed. So these drivers are gonna have to be super careful, but also can't be too passive trying to get on the pit road. So for the top 5 stay the same, but Dylan Chappell, he bring it down pit road last time by. He was just outside the top 5, sitting there in that 6th place spot. So so he'll come down pit road for 4 tires, and they will take the fuel. But usually we do see kind of the different 2-tire strategy calls in the next gen Cup car, but now this, especially in this ARCA car, especially here at Legacy Atlanta, I don't think 2 tires is even a question. Dylan Chapel makes a pretty early stop. We'll see if any other driver could stretch it long enough. That is a pretty tough, that's a pretty early pit stop. He's gonna have to make a 3-stop race here. He's gonna have to drop. Ideally, you want to try and go to about 36. And you get it to about 72 laps there. Let's see, try and get it actually at 38. It's 38, and it'll get you about to lap 76, and that'll give you a 39 lap final run. So really you want to try, I mean, it's pretty much going to be an even split from 38, but it looks like no one else can make it that far, but Jackson Sims, oh sorry, Jake Miller, did he get it slowed down in time? Looks like he did.
Wow.
Big save there from Jake Miller.
And side by side too. This could be about
side
the
by
race
side
lead.
with Elliot Henderson. Yeah, good pace, but Gyro's pitting early here on lap 35, so it looks like we're going to have a 3-stop race tonight. Just barely. We'll see if anyone can stretch it to about lap 39. That's going to be our next question, but looks like Cole Steiner, well, he'll come down pit road from the race lead. Nathan Lame, I want to hear out the race lead for now. He still stays out on the racetrack one more time.
There goes.
Each lap is going to be closer and closer to that 2-stop strategy call.
It's going to be side by side with pit lane for Miller and Henderson. Henderson on the bottom of the racetrack. Just slide up. Oh no, that was close on the exit.
You don't want to get on. Don't want to get across that line either. That could be an unsafe pit exit. You don't want to merge too early back onto the racetrack. Got to be careful of that as well. We'll see if any of those got penalty. They got really close to that line, but Elliot Henderson, he holds the race lead, but just in front of them though is Dylan Chapel. I believe a little bit farther out in front. That took the undercut strategy. And we'll see how that plays out. But Nathan Lamont, is he down pit road? Yes, he is on lap number 37. So it looks like no one will be able to make it on a 2-stop strategy. If they do, they're going to have to do a lot of saving. But I think it could have been close for some of these drivers. But Nathan Lamont, he's going to miss his stall. He's going to get the inside wall, actually. And that's going to cost him pretty much his night. Big mistake on pit road there for Nathan Lamont.
Yeah, probably got to hope for a caution, regroup, and get back up there and have a chance at the win or even the top 5 finish at this point. It's still very, very early on this race, so there's plenty of time to work his way through up the field. Also, you never know what pit strategy could happen and when a caution could come out at the right time for him.
And Dylan Chapel, he jumped a lot earlier compared to everybody else. He pitted about 5 laps earlier than everybody else, and now just look at the gap he has. He's now over a 2.5 out in the lead. It was about 2.5, but as you see, as a 5-lap tire difference will be major here, as Elliot Henderson is already cut it back down to only a 2nd to the race lead of Dylan Chapel. So he's just hoping to kind of get these tires to even out here, but it's going to be at least probably another 20 laps before they do. Dylan Chapel holding pretty strong for now, but I don't think this is really gonna help. He was a little bit weaker on that longer run compared to everybody else, but so far everyone's kind of staying single file, no one getting too aggressive to try and make moves right now. Jake Miller just behind Elliot Henderson. We also got a little bit of lap traffic out in front of the race leader Dylan Chapel, but everyone has cycled down pit road by now. But no, looks like we'll see if anyone, maybe Nathan Lamont, as he made a big mistake there, though that cost him a lot of time. We'll see if he can save enough fuel now. And I think if you're Nathan Lamont here, I would just try and back off as much as you can. Just try and save a little bit of fuel. It's not that much to save If you're able to get to lap 38, you only have to save about maybe 1 or 2 laps of fuel. That's not, can be pretty doable if you just kind of lift and coast, maybe clutch a little bit and turn off the engine going into the corner. It can definitely be possible to kind of do that, especially how hot the track is, and it's only getting hotter. So the track's going to slow down, and you're going to be burning a little bit less fuel as you're going to be going much slower. So we'll see how that plays out. But now Dylan Chappell under attack from Elliott Henderson. Elliott Henderson, he'll slot up in front of Dylan Chappell here off of turn number 2. Possibly, is he going to be able to do it? Not going to be enough. Dylan Chappell, actually, no, Henderson both clear there. But they were finding some lap traffic as well now. As Elliott Henderson will go to the inside of that 73 of Niles Davis, as he will take that, as he will go another lap down.
Oh, some contact there, back there. Some lap traffic. 3 wide off the end of the turn 4.
Yeah, Davis got a little bit of wall there, 3 wide with Jake Miller, Dylan Chappell. Now here comes Jackson Sims trying to take advantage of that opportunity. He jumps down to the bottom, not going to be able to do it. He'll slot back behind Jake Miller. That actually allowed Elliott Henderson to get about a half a second lead now. Also have to keep an eye on how these drivers, as I mentioned, the track's only getting hotter. As we started the night back in the heats and qualifying back at 95-degree track temp, and now in the race when we took the green flag, the track temp was 129, and now as we kind of getting to the midpoint of this race, track temperature 135 degrees. So it's just getting much. Drivers are really starting to struggle with the tire wear, starting to struggle with the grip out there on the racetrack. It's only going to get slower, so that could allow some drivers like Nathan Lehman, he hit a lot later than the other drivers. Could he possibly make it on a 2-stop strategy? It's going to be a little close, but ideally you want to try and make it about 38 to go. You want to make it on a 2-stop strategy here.
Now we'll see the field pretty spread out here. The top 4 is pretty close together, but Dylan Chappell just losing time each lap compared to the top 3, so this strategy didn't seem to work out the greatest so far, but obviously still early on this race, not even halfway yet, but looking, if we do go green the rest of the way, I think it's going to be a top 3 battle here right now with Elliott Henderson, Big Miller, Jackson Sims. Maybe Cole Sayer could get back up there as he has 1 lap first tires in the top 3, but still quite a little further on back.
He pitted a little bit. He pitted a little bit later, pitted a lap later, but also I think he may have just not been as aggressive on pit entry. Lost a little bit of time, but that 1 lap can make a big difference on tires as he is a little bit quicker. Actually, he was about 0.3 faster last time by the race leaders, but now he's going to work through a bunch of lap traffic. He's got to get by Dylan Chappell, who's about 6 lap older tires than he is. So we'll see how hard how much of a fight will Dylan Chappell put up to try and hold this spot. But well, we mentioned Matt Sisler pitted much earlier. He's actually running in 6th right now, so that undercut made a big difference. But he's also on a kind of a much earlier stint as well. So a lot of the drivers, they try to stretch the fuel as long as possible, try to make a 2-stop possible. It looks like they have to make a 3-stop race. So any driver that's pitted much earlier, maybe back on lap 30, it's gonna be a lot closer to we'll see how that strategy plays out, but we'll see if the big, kind of the undercut, kind of evenly splitting the race might be a little bit quicker later towards the end of this race.
Battle here on the racetrack. Evan Clapper and Dustin Spade side by side for 7th and 8th. Bates has the fresher tires on the inside. Will Clapper let him through? So these are the top side.
Just in front of him as well that pitted earlier. So right now, but Clapper on the top lane, managing the momentum for now on the top lane. Still side by side for that position though. As Spades on the bottom, and Clapper looked a lot of out of shape there on the top lane. they'll fall back behind as now Justin Space will take the 7th place spot away. So they will settle it down for that 6th, 7th, and 8th spot. Now Space works back down on the bottom. We're going to side by side here with Matt Sisler. So the battle for the 6th, but also watch just behind Nathan Lamont with the last pit stop. Last driver of the pit made a major mistake though, missing his box. Had to back up in his stall as he's going to survive that as Destin Spades gets really loose off turn number 2. Almost goes around. Good save there, but he'll lose the spot back to Evan Clapper and Nathan Lamont. But Nathan Lamont now trying to fight by Evan Clapper here as well. But out here also Nathan Lamont don't lose too much time here trying to battle. Just trying to see a little bit of fuel because he is much closer on a much closer to making it on a 2-stop strategy. So we'll see if he can stretch it long enough. I don't think anyone will, but we'll see how that plays out.
I'm a big guy on
not able
cars
to get
here.
by Evan Clapper though still, but they have another lap machine they're having to get by there, the 38.
It's Philip Nisi, just pitted a couple laps ago. Must have fixed some damage in pit lane.
Yeah, had some damage. Yeah, 13 laps down, but Evan Clapper almost contact with Nathan Lamont. He almost gets the outside wall of the trial, but a great save there for that 5 machine of Evan Clapper. Holds on to it, but that'll allow Nathan Lamont to take the spot away as he moves up to 7th. Now he tries to hunt down Matt Silson for 6th. He'll jump out of the bottom here in turn number 3 and 4. Meanwhile, up to the battle for race lead, Jake Miller now to the outside of Ellie Henderson.
As well.
As they're going to split the lap car 3 wide now as Jake Miller goes to the bottom, to the middle. A little bit of contact, almost gets turned off of turn number 2, but he shuts the door. Very close margin there. He'll take the race lead away from Ellie Henderson. Jake Miller looking like to be a much stronger car right now as he's chased him down. He's worked that move for the past 5 laps. Now he takes the race lead away, but now Ellie Henderson, he's got Jackson Sims on his back bumper now trying to take advantage. Jake Miller, almost a move that ended in disaster, but he held on to it. Jake Miller holds on to the lead for now, but now a couple laps to go. We passed the halfway point in this one. It's this time by will beat lap number 59 of 115. So we're just getting past the halfway point of this one. So to see this field is really starting to spread out now, but everyone pretty much taking the top lane. Sims into the outside wall. Gets loose, trying to get it off the wall, but he still holds on as he...
Oh, Evan Clapper spins in the pit lane. No caution out. No caution for that one.
Let's take a look at what happened there with Evan Clapper. It looks like we try to make it... Actually, no, he tried to get down pit road and not get it down, slowed down in time. spun back up the racetrack, back into the stalls. So Evan Clapper with the early pit stop is actually, I believe he was one of the first drivers to pit, along with Matt Sisler earlier in that first round of stops. So we'll see when Matt Sisler comes down pit road now. He last pitted about lap 30, so we'll see how well he can make it. But everyone up front, they're trying to target, especially Nathan Lamont. I would want to try and target about lap 77, 78. If you can get there, you can make it to the end from there, most likely. We'll see who can stretch it that far. But Evan Clapper with a pretty big undercut. He's going to have to make one more stop regardless. Everyone else will, but also very big mistake spinning on pit entry. That's going to cost him lots of time.
Big Will Frank through some lap traffic as well. As lap traffic also going to be a part of this one here late. Here comes Jackson Sims, Ellie Henderson. You gotta watch out for Evan Clapper there on the middle. 3 wide. Gonna be a little tough for turn 2. Now 2 wide here. Lap traffic playing a big part in this one here for the top 3 spots.
Evan Clapper's got to work his way back up as he gets one of his laps back here. He'll hop to the bottom of Jake Miller. He will take that spot away. He'll go back to 1 lap down on the lead now for Evan Clapper. So Evan Clapper still has a lot of ground to make up if he wants to have a chance at this. But Jackson Sims, he's been stuck behind Elliot Henderson. Can't find his way by, but Henderson a little bit loose off of turn number 2. But both these drivers staying just a couple tenths behind our race leader Jake Miller. Also, these drivers running the top lane throughout this entire run will also burn more fuel, so that's also going to be a factor if they can make it only on one more stop. But I think the only driver that really has a chance of that is Nathan Lamont. The track could save a little bit of extra fuel.
So here comes Sims on the outside. Got a good run off of turn 4. Gonna make his move here. And Elliot Henderson down the quad oval. He'll clear in turn 1. 4 seconds.
Yeah, Elliot Henderson is struggling with the rear grip now later in this run as he got really loose off of turn number 4. A little loose off of turn number 4, but Jackson Sims now, he has the opportunity. Got by Elliot Henderson. Looks like he's kind of been holding him up a little bit. So you'll see he's going to try and chase down Jake Miller for the race lead. It's probably about 10 more laps left in this run. Will Jackson Sims be able to take the lead away before we get to pit stops? Also, we almost saw Jake Miller almost lose it on pit entry the first round of stops, so he's going to be careful again on here in this second run. Don't want to make any mistakes as this could be the final stop of the race. These Matt Sisler, he did come down pit road. One of the other drivers, he took a pretty big undercut strategy there, but I don't think anyone really has a chance at the undercut. Just lost a little bit too much time earlier in the race.
Sims on the outside wall for turn 4.
Sims, he is hunting down that back bumper. Jake Miller for the race lead. These are all of the back bumper just in his tire tracks, but Jake Miller looks like a lot tighter off of turn number 2. And Jackson Sims, a really good run, jumps down to the bottom off of turn number 2, and he will clear into 3 in front of Jake Miller. Jake Miller trying to drive on the outside and trying to force his nose up there, but not going to be able to do it. Jackson Sims will take the lead here for 48 to go. But now Jake Miller with a run off of turn 4 tries to jump back down to the bottom. He's going to stay right behind Jackson Sims for 1 and 2. Now if Jake Miller, you don't want to let him get too far away because you know he is a little bit quicker right now. Just going to try and stop the bleeding until you get to that pit stop. The top, as you kind of see how the track has evolved so far tonight, as when we started this race, everyone was pretty much on the bottom, kind of feeding off the bottom a little bit. Now everyone's just, every driver pretty much up against the outside wall or in the middle lane. see the track's really darken up and rubbered it is, but Jackson Sims gets to the wall on turn 1 and 2, and that's gonna allow Jake Miller back to the bottom, as Jake Miller will reclaim the race lead here. Big mistake there for Jackson Sims. He finally had some clean air, could have had an opportunity to pull away, but now falls back to second behind Miller.
This looks like here comes Anderson up pit lane.
All three of them will come down pit road this time by on lap 70, so they will have to make one more pit stop here with 45 laps to go. Now that's going to open up a wide window of strategies here, because you can pit in about 10 laps. You also probably split it about 20, 25. We'll see how that plays for some of these drivers. But everyone pretty much coming down pit road. Andrew Nagy, Dustin Spates as well. But it looks like Jackson Sims over trying to stall a little bit.
We'll see how that affects him off the pit road exit here.
These drivers are very tight off pit road exit last time by. Almost made contact, but Jake Miller, a really, really good pit stop.
Wow. Rushed the rest of the drivers almost a second quicker on pit lane. He's got about almost a second and a half gap between him and Elliot Henderson before they even get up to speed. Wow. That is very important there for Jake Miller, as pretty much these drivers will not be able to get in his draft here early on in this run.
In other news, Dylan Chappell did jump out way in front of him, as he is on a much different pit strategy. But now for Jake Miller, and I also kind of mentioned it earlier, that 2 tires may not even be a question as the tire wear, but only a 44 lap run to go. If you split it and kind of stay a little bit later and pit with about 10 to go, does someone try a two right tire call for the final 10 laps or so?
I just don't know if it'll be practical to do that, just because I think you lose too much time anyway staying out that long as well compared to drivers who pit earlier. Also
Dylan Chappell is our race leader right now, so everyone has cycled in for their second stop, so no one will be able to make it. Everyone will have to make one more pit stop here tonight.
We've been mean and green this whole race so far, so looking good right now. Maybe go the distance possibly with 43 to go. Also update, Tony Jeffries had to come down pit lane with a penalty. Don't know exactly what it was for. I believe speeding possibly, or yeah, most likely speeding there for Tony Jeffries in that 23 machine. But here comes Jake Miller for the race lead on Dylan Chappell. Off turn 2, down the back straight away. He'll clear into turn 3.
Just barely. Dylan Chappell holds on. We'll see how Dylan Chappell plays his strategy. He's pitting a little bit earlier, but he's not holding. He did not have enough of a gap to really get a massive gap there on Jake Miller. I don't think he's going to have enough time to maybe try and pull something like that. Matt Sissler was just a little bit farther back as well. He did not even jump in front of anybody else. The good news is for Jake Miller, Cole Sider jumped out in front of Elliot Henderson and Jackson Sims, so they have been struggling, battling back for that 3rd place spot. This allowed Jake Miller to really pull away. But also, as I mentioned, maybe a 2-tire strategy call may not be worth it, but if some of those drivers just outside this top 4, they just try that strategy, they'll make up enough time to maybe make an opportunity at a 2-tire call.
As can Elliot Henderson and Jackson Sims catch up to Jake Miller. They're about 2.3 seconds back from that 77 machine out in front. Obviously one more pit stop to go, but still, that's going to be a tall ask, especially when you're on the same lap tires as a race leader who's been pretty quick tonight. Qualified in 4th. Won the heat race, won this heat 2, and been pretty quick on the long run as well.
Yeah, Jake Miller has been really fast all night long and a really good pit stop, but now he's still got one more to go. As we saw in his first pit stop, he almost lost it and almost fell on pit road. Now, at this final stop, you cannot make a mistake. So you just want to relax kind of one more time especially if you're with Jake Miller here. That you got a 2.5 second gap to everybody else behind, but you just don't want to make a pit road mistake. You don't want to spin on pit road. You do not want to speed. So right now, Jake Miller looking pretty strong as Cole Steiner really played a big factor for Elliott Henderson and Jackson Sims as they cause a lap, but caution out of the racetrack.
And it's Blake McClung around on the entry of turn number 3. Front end destroyed. Right front tire destroyed as well. Here with 37 to go. Wow.
Our first caution of the night.
And that's right on the fuel window as well.
Right, yeah, right on the fuel number.
I think there'll be slightly, it's very close once they come out pit lane.
I think they'll be good after, especially after.
Oh no, it wasn't just. Whoa.
73, Niles Davis. Oh, big flip there for Blake McClung.
Looks like Davis maybe overcorrected into the wall there. Tried to get out of the way, but McClung was already driving the inside. Absolutely massive shunt there for that Tim machine. Wow.
A questionable move there, but Blake McClung, heavy wreck. He flips there, but Niles Davis.
Oh no, he got door banged by the 08 machine of Glenn Grimm. He was trying to get out of the way. I think he had the broken wreck front, and I guess he didn't realize Blake McClung was on his inside there. What a heavy impact for both of those drivers. Blake McClung almost flung onto the infield right there.
Now this is also a big strategy call here. I believe everyone will probably come down and take 4 tires here, but that worked out really well for Cole Steiner and Dylan Chapel. They stay on the top 5, but everyone going to come down pit road, so no one going to make any different strategy calls there. No one stays out, especially the minimum laps on tires, but this is most likely could be the money stop here with 35 to go. Final stops tonight possible. We'll see how this plays out later in this race, but we'll see. Can Jackson Sims or Elliott Henderson, could they jump Jake Miller for the race lead? Oh, it looks like Jake Miller barely made this pit stall. Looked like barely made this pit stall there. Almost overshot it. We'll see how that works out for Jake Miller. Right now, everyone going to take 4 tires, top it up on fuel, as fuel is going to be mighty close here. I think they'll be okay, but Jake Miller gets out in front. It'll be Elliott Henderson out second, Jackson Sims, Cole Steiner, Dylan Chapel for the top 5. Matt Sisler around at 6, but you'll see Matt Sisler, he was strong in his heat race. He's now up to 6. Could he have an opportunity to maybe start and steal a race win away? But still gonna be a decently long run to the finish. Tire gonna matter, but we could see sparks start to fly here late.
Yeah, I usually like to say cautions breed cautions, and with this short of a run, I mean, I would not be surprised if we see a little bit of a little crash festy racing, aggressive racing these next 35 laps.
Some drivers actually coming down to top off. Cole Steiner, Dylan Chapel, Matt Sisler will come down to top it off on fuel here. Interesting call there. She's coming to take the 1 to go signal, so.
A quick caution here.
So 1 driver getting a wave around there. So, yeah, so 1 to go signal here. Jake Miller will be the race leader. Now we'll see how this plays out, especially for Dylan Chapel. I don't think fuel was really close of a question as I thought it would, because these drivers could easily make it about 33 laps. I think they'll be pretty close, especially 34. So the first run was about 34 for those drivers. We'll see, depending on what lane they run, but the track is getting hotter. This track is 136, but it should be about peaking now. So 136 degree track temp, hottest part of the day. With the restart here, this could be a wild restart. Watch the wheel spin, pace cars off. Jake Miller will launch it off the race lead as Elliott Henderson looking strong as well. Looking a little bit better on the outside lane, but it stays side by side with Jackson Sims in a 1.
We're rocking out to 1 here. Miller clear off of turn 2 easily. Henderson, Sims, not quite clear of each other quite yet. They will down into turn 3 as Evan Clapper penalty
Oh,
for
and a
him.
car around to the back. Evan Clapper hard on the inside wall there on the back
They
straightaway.
stay green though.
Just keep it on the apron. He'll drive back up. He'll drive it back up on the racetrack, but won't be a yellow there. But we'll have to keep it on Matt Sisler, Dylan Chappell. They both topped off a little bit there late, so we'll see. Same with Cole Steiner. We'll see if they have a little bit extra fuel, but they're a little bit farther mired back in traffic as they are pretty much staggered forward. You see all 4 different lanes being used there, 1 and 2.
How aggressive will these drivers be on the early get-go here? You still have a long ways to go until the finish of this one, especially at Atlanta with how big the tire wear has been, as we've talked about all night long. Still 30 plus laps to go.
Yeah, these drivers still have to be careful. You can easily rip the tires off quickly and be in a really tough struggle in the final few laps, and that's exactly when you don't want to be struggling. Is when it matters most in those final 10 laps. Is right now the top 3 staying single file for now, staying pretty close, but Nicholas Caressel, he's trying to find his way by Jackson Sims for 3rd. He's trying to make a move happen as well. Same with Andrew Nagy there in 5th. Dustin Spade sitting right behind. So we'll see how those drivers can play out. Both a few of them using all different lines, but right now it looks like their top 3. They've been dominant all night long tonight and still staying holding on for now. Now actually they are single file for the top 4 as they side by side with Andrew Nagy and Dustin Spates for 5th. That top final spot in the top 5. As Nagy taking his time on the bottom for now, as he was one of the drivers able to work in the top lane earlier. Elliot Henderson right on the back bumper of Jake Miller. He's going to have to put that pressure on Elliot Henderson, qualified on the pole tonight. He's been up front all night long, but can he close it out? Can he get back to the race lead in front of Jake Miller? Jake Miller with a really good green flag pit stop, able to cycle into the race lead, and now he's been able to just try and play the track position. He's got the clean air. He's at an advantage right now, but still 28 to go. Plenty of stuff. Plenty of things can happen.
Yeah, definitely. Here comes Henderson.
Out of the bottom race lead.
Looking for a slide job here, maybe off of turn 4. He'll clear easily though.
Oh, Jake Miller, he looked like he wanted to cut down to the bottom, maybe try to pull the crossover, but it lost the nose to the center of the 3 and 4, and that's going to allow Henderson to clear and pull away by a little bit. So Jake Miller losing the nose to the center of 3 and 4 there, but how aggressive will he get to hold this race lead? He's got Jackson Sims now looking to his back bumper, looking to his inside, so he's going to hold off, he's going to defend as well. Also, watch out for Cole Steiner now. He's working his way back up. He has a little bit of more fuel to play with as well. Don't think fuel will really be a question. If these drivers were to the top the whole way, it could be close here. 26 laps to go. Elliot Henderson holds the lead, but they are nose to tail throughout the top 7. Now they're side by side, 2 deep as Cole Steiner works to the inside of Andrew Nagy for that 5th place spot. A 4th place spot, Nagy gets to the outside wall. Jackson Sims right at the top lane gets a little bit loose sitting there in 3rd, but they're still side by side for 4th. With Nagy and Caressel there, but Caressel will clear. Snyder with a really good run off of turn 4, he will clear for 5th. As now he's going to try to look to the inside of Caressel, but now Jake Miller looking to the outside of Elliot Henderson. Henderson trying to run the bottom, trying to save a little bit of tire, but he still holds on to the race lead. He gets a big shot from the back bumper from Jake Miller down the back straightaway. Miller with the clean air on the top lane. Gonna try and get a little bit more of a run. Not gonna happen though. Off at turn number 4. He will still hold on to 2nd. So try and jump down to the bottom of Elliot Henderson. He'll stay in line. Still single file for the top 3 for now. To close out the final 24 laps in this one tonight.
And the top 3 having the top 3 most dominant drivers tonight: Henderson, Miller, and Sims. I think Sims historically on these long runs has been the quicker of the 3. once we get to 30, 25, 30 laps into the run, but we'll see how it plays out here. A little bit different mindset for this one since it's only one green flag run, not a bunch of pit stops in between. It was before the caution came out here in lap 79.
So far, Jake Miller holding on to second. He's trying to get the nose out, trying to set up a pass on Elliot Henderson here, but he's got plenty of time still left. 23 to go. Anything could happen. We could also see another caution come out as well. That could be a big factor. But Jake Miller, where they really go all into 1 and 2, he'll jump to the outside of Elliot Henderson as Henderson is running to the bottom. Now he's under attack here from Jake Miller. He's got to trust the bottom, trust his tires start to come into play, but he's going to shut the door. He's going to try to squeeze the gap between Sims and Miller. They'll make it happen, but Jake Miller back to the lead now. Jackson Sims, he jumps out of the bottom, almost looks like a stagger 3 there. Elliot Henderson, he'll cut to the inside of the Jake Miller through 1 and 2. Can he hold alongside? He doesn't have any help from the draft though. Tries to side draft Miller back, not gonna be able to do it. It wasn't really too aggressive on that side draft late. You expect, especially once you get into this final 10 laps, that the side drafts will get more and more aggressive, but he still holds on. He'll slot back in for second. Miller still holds on through 3 and 4, but Miller looking like he's slipping and sliding just a tad more around than Elliot Henderson. And that's allowing Henderson just to get a little bit more time. He'll jump down to the bottom, he'll cut down the inside lane. Can't do that for the last 20 laps as he's entering high and turning the race car down the racetrack. That will easily eat up your front tires. So you gotta be careful, but he wants to try and get this race lead. He knows the track is going to be a really big important here late. Meanwhile, just behind him, Dustin Spates trying to take the inside. And Nicholas Cressel, and he goes around! Cressel gets turned around and caution out with 20 to go. Dwayne Young, it piles into it.
Oh, man.
The yellow out with 20 to go. As Cressel was side by side with Dustin Spates, I believe Dustin Spates got loose on the bottom. Yeah, it looks like he got loose and overcorrected back up into the Nicholas Cressel and Cole Slander, nowhere to go. You had a strong run. And Dwayne Young coming in there. It hits Cressel, and that's going to pretty much end their nights. But now it's going to make it a pretty short run to the end. He still can't rip the tires off it, but this is going to be a very, very important pit stop here late as now the pit road is open.
Yes, if everyone gonna come up here lane, yes they will. Most likely the last pit stop of the night.
This could be big importance here as 4 tires, no doubt gonna be the call. Cannot overshoot your box, and Jake Miller barely makes it. Dylan Chappell, he overdrives the box. He was outside the top. He was in the top 6. Elliot Henderson maybe get a better launch out of the box for that first stall, and not going to happen. Jake Miller, Elliot Henderson, Jackson Sims will be the top 3. Matt Sisler, though, he was strong in this heat race. He's now sitting in 4th. Can the Sisler have anything to say in this battle here as we'll restart with about 15 laps to go? We'll take the 1 to go signal this time by, so we'll restart with 16 to go. This time by when we could take the green flag, but now 16 to go. You have to think the aggression is going to ramp up big time, and no driver is really going to be cutting anybody a break. No driver is going to be cutting each other brakes.
Yeah, most likely not. I mean, how short of time these drivers have. A little bit longer off. It's twice as long as the heat race, pretty much. So we saw how hectic that was there. Probably a little deja vu for this one right here.
So how this plays out, we'll take the 1 to go signal once again. So we had a really long green flag run to start this one, but a yellow at 36 to go. We see your second caution of the night here with 20 to go, and we're going to restart with 16. We start with 16 to go. Jake Miller's been strong since he got the lead with a very good green flag pit stop. Elliot Henderson's been trying to fight back to take it back away. He took it away for a lap or two, but then Jake Miller was able to take it back. These two have been training the lead all night long. Jackson Sims, he's been waiting in the wings, just hasn't been able to find an opportunity to try and take them both. We'll see if he has an opportunity here with 16 to go. Maybe try and steal the win away. Matt Sisler, strong in his heat race, did not finish bad though. Had to start for the back. He's now restarting fourth. Does he have anything to say? Green flag, back in the air. 16 laps to go here from Atlanta. The good launch for Jake Miller once again. It'll be Jackson Sims and Ellie Henderson side by side for second and one.
Sims clears off of turn 2, easily staying with Miller as well. Henderson a little side by side with Sisler down the back, but Henderson will clear on the entry turn 3.
3 wide behind him. Nathan Lamont goes to the inside of Andrew Nagy and the 61 of 61 of Dustin Spades. As Dustin Spades try to hold on to that top 6, he goes around the outside trying to get back to the top 5. He'll hold on for now in front of Nathan Lamont. But now Jackson Sims up to second. Does he have anything for Jake Miller? 15 to go. These drivers are going to be pretty much all pushed through, throughout this entire final run. But you still got to be careful. 15 laps can easily still have time to rip up your tires. Got to be careful here still.
As goes to the inside for Sims. Links out a little bit there, but Miller doing a good job. Just kind of run that middle line, making sure he has a momentum on this exit, these exits to the corners, not lose too much time.
Jake Miller will hold the race lead as Jackson Sims not a strong 3 and 4, but he'll probably take it back to the bottom. No, everyone will take it back to the top lane. Ellie Henderson going to run in the middle, trying to get a little bit of clean air, but Jackson Sims right up against the outside wall, looking like he's going to have a strong run here off of turn number 2. He's going to be able to clear for second, but he's trying to chase down as he tries to get to track. He's trying to chase down Jake Miller for race lead. Sims with a little bit of air on the nose, looks much better here through 3 and 4. Going to get right on the back bumper of Jake Miller here. Not enough to make a move into 1. He'll stick back to the top lane to get a little bit nose on the air, air on the nose again. Actually drives the inside of Jake Miller off at turn number 2.
Here comes Henderson.
Jake Miller, Elliot Henderson with a good run on the bottom as well. They're going to stay side by side, but Henderson will push Sims on the bottom. They stay side by side for lead into 3 and 4. As Sims is going to be able to clear through the center of 3 and 4, but does Miller have an opportunity to cross over? But Elliot Henderson is going to box him into the top lane.
12 laps to go. Sims leads over Miller and Henderson. They single file back out here for second.
Sims blinking out a little bit again for the race lead, but now Miller's trying to fight back as he got boxed in there. Didn't have an opportunity to do a crossover on Jackson Sims. Elliot Henderson trying to take advantage, but now here comes Dustin Space to the inside of Matt Sisler. Sisler just waiting in the wings to Nathan Lamont as well. All 3 of these start to battle once again. We could see everyone else still play a factor. As this time by is 11 laps to go.
Oh, Sisler on the outside wall. They'll lose a little bit of momentum. Here comes Nathan Lane. Oh, contact behind.
Oh, Dustin Spades going to get turned. Dustin Spades gets turned off down the back straightaway off of turn number 2, and the caution will fly with 11 laps to go. Our 3rd caution of the night.
Wow. Anyone come down pit lane? Maybe those drivers in the back. A little bit fresher tires. Would be interesting to see. Up here, down the back, looks like Andrew Nagy maybe just trying to side draft that 61 machine of Spades and just kind of misjudged it there on the entry turn number 3.
Yeah, now with 10 laps to go, no doubt I believe everyone will come down pit road. You could see someone try to make a gutsy call to maybe try and stay out.
think it'll be more split than you think. I mean, your driver like 10th on back, you could maybe just stay out here and try something, but we'll see how split this is. It's like,
I believe you have to come down pit road, especially this late into the race. Still plenty of tires left. Still plenty of tires left for everybody else here, but 4 tires at the call. You could maybe take a 2-tire call, but this is pretty much going to be just like a heat race. We're going to have pretty much an 8-lap shootout once you go back green. We'll see, but pit stops very important here. Jake Miller holds on. He'll get down the pit road just in time. Everyone else looks like they've been right in the box at the perfect moment. No one taking 2 tires. Cole Snyder, though, did stay on the race lead. Dylan Chappell, though, really good pit stop. He'll jump in the front. 2-tire call there.
everyone else taking 4, though. Interesting call. Front row. That could be one to watch out for. Tire spin. We saw on the initial restart, or initial start of the race, some tire spin there, but you know, later in the race, how aggressive are you gonna be on the throttle? And also, Cole Snyder has a little bit of that right side damage. He was involved in the second caution on lap 97, so that's gonna be interesting.
You also have to realize as well, if we take a look at the kind of the weather graph between the race, you said the initial start had a little bit of wheel spin. The track temp was 129 back then. It has crawled to 136 as it is 2 o'clock in the sim. So it's a wheel spin, so it's going to be even more tough. So you got to watch Cole Snyder, especially if you're Cole Snyder here, especially if you're Dylan Chappell. You have to watch your wheel spin here. We'll restart with 7 to go. Do you have enough time to hold on? But just the old surface here, the tires just get ripped through here of this Legacy Atlanta. We'll see if it holds on for those the 88 and 17, but there maybe could be banking on you just kind of keep getting wrecks here late to the end. Maybe if they're trying to hold on and maybe try and win this under caution.
Also, those drivers are teammates here, so Cole Snyder, I mean, realistically, probably not going to do too well after turn 1 and turn 2. So maybe he can help his teammate Cole Snyder out, or Dylan Chappell out a little bit here. Maybe block here, and hopefully Chappell can go for the win. But obviously, Jair is probably a little bit more selfish here later in the race than they would be at the beginning or in the middle.
Yeah, the aggression level is going to be ramped up here. No one's going to give anyone anything. You're going to see really aggressive side drives. You're going to be really aggressive slide jobs. You're going to see a lot of doors being shut as much as possible here. But with 7 laps to go, it is 1 lap longer than what we saw in our heat races. We saw a lot of chaos in our heat races. This is going to be probably going to see something very similar. Co-sign on the old tires. Dylan Chappell onto iRacing Pace Car, takes the hard left turn on the pit road. Back to the Geico Restart Zone. Green flag back in the air. Dylan Chappell with a much better launch on the top lane, but he's already split 3 wide with Jake Miller.
As Miller with a good restart there. Chappell wasn't able to get on the gas too much there. As here comes Sims as well.
Sims trying to shove his way through there. Sims shoves his way through them with Jake Miller, but they're already to the race lead. There's still 3 wide. A little bit of contact with Cole Snyder and Elliot Henderson for 3rd, but this allows Jackson Sims and Jake Miller. They pull away, but here comes Sims to the bottom for the race lead off of turn number 4.
As side by side with turn 4, a little side drop there from Sims to Miller. As dead heat down onto the stripe and down to turn 1 with 6 laps to go here in this one.
Sims to the bottom, Miller to the top lane. No tires saving is thought of from now. Now on, everyone's just going to be ripping the tires to shreds, but Nathan Lema, big moment off of turn number 2. He holds on to him, and Jackson Sims, really big moment. He's cost a lot of momentum there. And Dylan Chappell trying to force his way to the bottom of Jake Miller, even with the 2 tires, not able to do it, but he's still holding strong. 5 to go here from Atlanta.
Chappell doing a lot better than I thought he would. As you mentioned, 5 laps to go. Chappell has a chance to win this one here late.
You know, driving out of the bottom in 1 and 2, tries to get to the inside lane, stays side by side with Jake Miller. I'm shocked the 2 tires really holds on, but Jake Miller with the run on the top lane. Can he clear? Yes, he will. The car around. Andrew Yagi goes around in the back straightaway. Hard on the inside wall. He'll stay off the racing surface, will stay green. But now Dylan Chappell goes to the bottom. Jake Miller tries to block. That allows Ellie Henderson to the top lane. Henderson with a good run off of turn 4. He's going to try and jump to the bottom of Dylan Chappell. Side by side for 2nd. Does Henderson have anything left to say? There's a pole sitter tonight. He had Jake Miller to his outside, But now, here comes Ellie Anderson. Down to the bottom in 1 and 2. He'll slot him in front of Dylan Chappell for second. Now, this time by, it'll be 3 laps to go. Does Henderson have anything left? Here comes Jackson Sims. He should have chased him back down as well.
Sims lost a lot of time a couple laps to go. He's up to 3rd place now. Now, once again, the top 3 most dominant cars tonight. They're most likely going to duke it out here with 3 laps to go for the race win.
Anderson with a little bit better run off of turn number 4. 3 to go here. Just over 3 miles left to go. Anderson, he's going to drive it down to the bottom here, 1 and 2. Going to get side by side, but here comes Jackson Sims to the top lane. Does he have an opportunity to go 3 wide? No, he doesn't, but he gets to the outside of Ellie Henderson down the back straightaway. Down to the 3 and 4. He's going to drive it back down to the bottom. Side by side for lead. Anderson coming to the 3 and 4.
Oh, it's going to be tight.
Jackson Sims to the bottom. Gets a little bit tight, but here comes Henderson. He'll fight back to the bottom.
2 laps to go, 3 miles to duke it out here at Atlanta. Side by side for second. Miller likes what he sees in his rearview mirror right now.
Allowing Miller to maybe get a little bit of a gap, but now Jackson Sims, he's got the run of the top lane, gets a little close to the outside wall, does not want to get to the outside wall here. Gonna get side by side down the back straight with Ellie Henderson for the penultimate time through 3 and 4. It is gonna be Jake Miller, gonna be the race leader. Sims will jump up to the top lane, Miller jumps to the bottom. Can he get enough of a run to maybe be out to the attack in 1 and 2? Off of 4, white flag, 1.5 miles to go for Jake Miller.
Sims had a good run off of turn 4. Can he get a good run off here off of turn 2? Have a chance going into turn 3.
Miller will jump to the middle lane. That could allow Jackson Sims an opportunity here in 1 and 2. Off of turn 2 for the final time. Sims going to try and get the run. Tries to get the draft down to 3 and 4. Does he have a moment in the 3 and 4? Going to try and drive it in. Trying to get to the back bumper, but loses the nose on the entry. Jake Miller, no pressure from behind off of turn number 4. Jake Miller, he is going to win at Legacy Atlanta.
And side by side for second, Jackson Sims will pick up second. Henderson stays in 3rd.
Jake Miller able to play the strategy correctly there late. Able to block a hard-fought battle from Jackson Sims and Elliot Henderson. Well, I thought maybe the middle kind of could be the death of him there on that white flag, but he's able to hold off of a run from Jackson Sims. And Jake Miller, it was a hard-fought battle all night long with Ellie Henderson and Jackson Sims, but he was able to come out in front. All 3 of those were pretty much even all night long. But Jake Miller able to survive the final 7-lap shootout. It will burn it down. It will win here tonight. Jake Miller will continue to burn it down and celebrate here from Legacy Atlanta. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the post-race interviews. Welcome back here to Legacy Atlanta as we just wrapped up the Pro Spill Recovery and Excavation Services 175 here from 2008 version of Atlanta. As was Jake Miller able to take the race win. Before we get to our posters news, let's take a look at tonight's results here from Atlanta. As Jake Miller able to hold it off late, able to hold off a hard-charging Jackson Sims and Elliot Henderson late. He'll pick up the race win. Jackson Sims will finish second, Elliot Henderson in third. Dylan Jabba, they two-tire call there late, able to still pick up a solid fourth-place finish here tonight. Matt Sisler starting for the back, finishing fifth tonight, is usually our biggest mover of the night. Nathan Lamont finishing sixth tonight, Tony Jeffries in seventh, Evan Clapper in eighth, Dan Riberak in ninth, and Devin McIntosh has our top 10. And finishing 11th tonight is the 88 of Cole Snyder. Andrew Nagy finishing 12th, and 13th place finisher Dustin Spades, who's the last driver on the lead lap. Glenn Glenn finishing in 14th, Ty Weems in 15th, Dylan Harris in 16th, Nicholas Caressel in 17th, Dwayne Young 18th, Blake McClellan finishing 19th tonight after a violent flip on the backstretch. Niall St. Vincent running at the top 20, and running our final two drivers of the field tonight was 38 of Philip East and David McCullough in the Dream Machine, running our 22 car field. But up front, it was Jake Miller able to hold off a hard-charging Jackson Sims and Ellie Henderson there late through the final 7-lap shootout. Is what was going through your head there in those final few laps of trying to hold on to the race, win.
Kind of all starts with that restart. I mean, one guy had damage, one guy was on two tires, and so I was going to force the issue, so I didn't have to deal with them. And me, Jackson, and Elliot are all teammates, so we're just having a good time, but I really didn't think I'd hold them off. But if you just hold the outside and get a run off, it's kind of hard to pass here. So I just kind of, figured 5 laps on fresh tires, send it as hard as we can, and hold the outside and drive away.
And you're able to hold on there in the final few lap shootouts, but you were able to get the lead earlier from a really good pit stop. You did get a late race yellow there with about 36 to go, but you had a 2.5 second gap up to that point. Just trying to talk us through how tough was pit road and just how tonight, and how were you able to just make you almost made a big mistake on that first run, but just how are you able to make up so much time on that second pit stop?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I was sending it pretty hard on the entrance. We all saw that on the first pit stop. In the second one, I nailed it, and I just had a better pit stop, I guess. And I'm kind of disappointed that yellow came out because I was gone. No one was catching me, and I was pretty confident that if I had another green flag pit stop, I was just going to do the same thing and keep pulling away.
Yeah, but you held on. You still able to hold on through those final short runs. They are late, able to pick up the race win. Before we start off on the way, any spots you like to thank for tonight's race win?
Just all of Spectrum Racing, my teammates, and I know my Uncle Ron's watching this interview, so what up, Uncle Ron? Thanks for the broadcast, guys.
Once again, congrats on the race win tonight. We will see you next week at Pocono. So that was Jake Miller, our race winner here tonight. We'll bring in our second place finisher of Jackson Sims, was battling there late, trying to make one last opportunity through 3 and 4, but just couldn't hold on. But he's still able to hold on to second. But it was kind of what was going through their head there late through the final restart. And what do you think could have done differently to maybe try and steal the race win away?
Yeah, I think if I could have gotten the lead off the restart, I think I had a shot because it was so hard to pass on the bottom. But yeah, the guy in front of me stayed on old tires, just didn't go. So Jake jumped me there, and from then I knew it was going to be not impossible, but a struggle to get him back. He's really good at defending, and the last corner, I just tried to throw it in on his bumper, get him arrow loose or do something, but it just got me super tight. So all in all, really, really happy with how the race went.
You're still able to pick up a very solid second place run here tonight, but you're battling up front all night long, one of the fastest 3. But just kind of talk us throughout those longer runs tonight. How was the tire wear and how that really make the difference handling, especially throughout the different lanes of the racetrack?
Yeah, it was super fun. He had the same tire; it would slide everywhere. Like, the rears felt like they just weren't in the track at all. So yeah, to manage rears, manage front. It's just the way Atlanta is just really, really super worn out. So I think it showed, towards the end of the run who was good at tire saving and who pushed too early.
Be able to hold on to the tire wear, especially throughout those final few runs, able to still pick up a very solid second place run before you send off on the way. Any sponsor link for tonight's second place run?
Yeah, thank you guys for doing the broadcast and teammates. I know Russell got wrecked out early, but Elliot and Jake, it's really helpful being able to talk to them during a race. And everybody watching back home.
Once again, congrats on your second place run. We'll see you next week at Pocono.
Thank you. See you.
So Jackson Sims, our second place finisher here tonight. We'll bring our third place finisher here of Elliot Henderson. Elliot Henderson able to put it on the pole tonight, and it was a hard-fought battle between Jackson Sims and Jake Miller there in those final shootout. What do you think could have differently there late to maybe try and steal the win away?
I think I could have run my pit stops a little bit better. I think that's what was hurting me all night. I just couldn't get into the box that well. I think I've been running other cars too much, and I'm not really used to the brakes on these. They work pretty well compared to other stuff. But yeah, otherwise, it's just about kind of picking the lanes, and I don't know that I was really picking the right lane at the end. I was just kind of playing defense against Dylan and Matt and everyone behind us. So, I'm content with where it was. It sucks to lead the most laps and not come away with the win, but I'm really not sure what else I could have done better. I was kind of waiting for Jackson and Jake to get side by side, and they did the one time, and then I didn't really have anywhere to take it, and they just couldn't get back to each other again. So we'll take third. I'm fine with it.
Hey, you mentioned you led a lot of laps tonight. You qualified on the pole, so you had a lot of the clean air tonight. Just kind of how did that make a big difference in kind of how the car handled it as long as the tire wear?
I think clean air, obviously, you burned up the rears a lot quicker, and you could kind of tell that towards the end of the run when I just couldn't get off the corners. But the other thing was just how much draft there was. It's not incredibly noticeable, but as you're coming off the corner and down the straightaway right at the end, when you're topping out, you can see, I don't know how visible it was on the broadcast, but the top 3, 4, 5 guys were all kind of having to almost brake check towards the end of the straightaway, kind of like what happens at some other tracks like Michigan and Chicago and stuff, where you're almost maxing out speed. And I think just being the leader, that was kind of the biggest downfall, because someone could get a big run on you, try to side draft and gain an advantage going into the corner. But otherwise, yeah, from dirty air, it was just burning up the right front, so you had to lift a lot earlier and try to maintain pace through the middle and get off the corner better. But the lead car just burned up the rear so often that it was hard to get off of the corners. So as the trailing car, if you could line up a good run accompanied by that draft, it was really easy to just kind of go back to the inside. So, we played a bit of team games at the front, just kind of maintaining our positions up there. But at the same time, you could see towards the end that it was relatively easy to get big runs if you really wanted to.
If you're still able to hold on to a solid third place run here tonight before you send off on the way, any sponsor link for tonight's third place run?
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting this, Sam, and everybody that makes this league go on. David, our admin, and I think Matt's an admin over here on the west side too. So thanks to everyone that makes this league happen. My teammates, Sims, Jake Miller, other guys that weren't here tonight, Jeff and Pienta, and then Caressa was here, but unfortunately got taken out, but was running really well with us at one point, all in the top 4. So thanks to Eric Kep for letting us come over here and run on his team and everything, and we'll see where it goes.
And once again, congrats on your third place finish here tonight. We'll see you next week at Pocono.
Thank you guys so much.
So that was our third place finishers tonight of Elliot Henderson, was our pole sitter, but able to just sled back just a little bit. But a crazy final 7-lap shootout there, pretty much just like what we saw in the heat races. It was definitely exciting finish to tonight's race, and a really strong race. Saw multiple comers and goers tonight. It was definitely a fun one here tonight from Legacy Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely a fun race. Overall, just kind of like what we thought pre-race. Tires gonna be important. Fuel strategy kind of almost became important, but maybe a little bit. But just a fun race. I mean, green for most of it, 3 cautions only, and that's some good racing from a lot of great drivers.
Yeah, we saw. It was definitely a really fun race here tonight. We saw a lot of draft play a factor tonight as well, and that'll definitely, I think, be a factor going into next week at Pocono. The tricky triangle, as we see. So we'll see how these drivers kind of adapt to the tricky triangle next week, and there's our next week's race here on the Legends Racing Network. But coming up tomorrow night, we do have the Quantum Contender Series. We'll be at Milwaukee coming off their Thanksgiving break at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Friday night we'll have the special Snowball Derby special event here on Legends Racing Network, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. on Friday night and 8:15 tomorrow night for the Quantum Contender Series. And next week, we'll be back at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for Pocono for the SuperStar ARCA West Series. But that's a fun one here tonight from Legacy Atlanta. I'm Aaron Brown, alongside my co-commentator and producer tonight of Talent Drake. So long here from Legacy Atlanta. We'll see you next time. Hail the Legends Racing Network.